Well, I'm Geert Dewulf. I'm a professor of civil engineering, but I'm also the Chief Development Officer of the University of Twente in the Netherlands. Well, it was a great pleasure for me to be in Madras for this Gian course. What I actually taught there was participatory design, and which is very important in engineering projects. So you always work with a lot of internal and external stakeholders. So stakeholder management and how do you actually let all these people participate in the project is very much important. So at one hand, it's the outreach, it's the political dimension, but it's also about finance, about urban planning, sustainability issues, etc. And that is all very important in project organizations. So actually, primarily I taught how do you manage all these internal and external stakeholders. Actually, I supervised two PhD students in Madras also working on this topic. One of my students here from the Netherlands also went for an internship in Madras. So we, together with my colleague Ashwin Mahaligam, we have a long tradition of collaboration. So this course was a kind of cherry on the ice cream, you could say. It was well, one part of a long collaboration we already had. What I always find important if you collaborate with university is you want to work with the best people, best students. You want to work with the best professors, and also in a very nice and best location. And I think these three issues are there in Madras, and I was very happy to teach that course over there. First of all, I know Ashwin already from his connection with Stanford. I was a visiting professor at Stanford as well. And Ashwin was one of the graduates there, so I know him already for a long time. We are both participating in the network on engineering project organization. We publish quite a lot together, and it's always a very big pleasure to work with him. He is one of the leading academics in this field. He has a strong network in the world. He has visited me also several times in the Netherlands, and like I said, we are sharing a couple of students. I was involved in a couple of PhDs of him, and he was involved in some of my projects. And yeah, it's not just a good colleague, it's also a good friend. And actually one anecdote, when me and my wife, actually my wife joined me to India, we had some problems with our luggage. So we did not have our luggage for 2-3 days. And we went for shopping with Ashwin as his wife. So we have also a personal experience with him in that sense. Well, first of all, I think I visited Madras several times, and what's always very pleasant on the campus is that you feel really well, a very warm welcome, both from the academics, from the international office, but also from actually everybody who is working on the campus. So I stayed there also for a week, so on the campus. Actually, I visited later on also another time, and my wife joined me, and we also stayed on the campus. And I think that's always a very pleasant atmosphere. Of course, that the campus on Madras, IIT Madras, is a beautiful spot in the middle of a hectic city. It's a nature preserve. I love birds, I love animals, so you all see that on the campus. We had an excellent stay on the campus, and I like Indian food, so that was a great occasion. But I think also is that it's a safe environment, and it's for an academic always good to have a good place. And with all the monkeys on the campus, sometimes it's a little bit dangerous to be in the middle of some of these monkeys, but once you get used to it, it's a very pleasant environment. So the campus is great, and we ate every day in the restaurant of the campus. So yeah, it was a very pleasant stay. And of course, India is a very diverse country. You can't say there's India. There's actually different states in India and different cultures, and that makes the country very very interesting. The other thing is Indonesia is the largest democracy in the world, and I'm always surprised how actually how structured it is. On one hand, India is of course hectic and a lot of people, etc. But it's democracy, and you see many things in India that are very similar to my tiny country in the Netherlands. I'd like to give you some of these examples. If you look at urban participation of stakeholders, and urban planning, so the whole stakeholder management in urban planning, that's India is one of the front runners. So I think we in Europe can learn a lot of India in that sense. So how people are engaged in decision making. My own field of expertise is public-private partnerships. Well, you do have a lot of PPPs in India, so I think we also can learn on it. So in academic sense, there's a lot to learn. But India and also in the Madras, you have so many cultures, so many different languages even. And I don't speak Hindi or Madras or whatever language is spoken there. But I had the opportunity to meet a lot of the colleagues in Madras, and they all had a different background and a different language. And that makes it very interesting to see. The other thing is that I think India is also a hub, you could say, if you look at Madras. People come from different parts of the world, different religions, different backgrounds. And that makes it always very interesting, I find. So yeah, and India is a lovely country. It's a very friendly, very pleasant country to travel. The diversity in income. I mean, you see poor and rich, old, but there's never a fight or so. It's always, yeah, everybody. If they don't even have money, they are very friendly to tourists, and I'm always very surprised at that. And yeah, I love India. I love the food as well. So. Well, I think for an international leading university like IIT Madras, it's very important to keep that hub ID. So if I look at the professors in civil engineering at Madras, many of them received a PhD from the US, from the best universities, or from the Netherlands, or from somewhere else in the world. And I think they all come together again in Madras. So people go abroad, but they come back. And I think being that international hub, and also like for visitors like myself, is the best way to learn from each other. And I think for an international leading university, I will certainly keep that. I think Madras is very well suited for doing that. You have the campus, you can host people, you can host international conferences, etc. And I think that's very important. The only thing is, of course, with India, people have to know it. Because there's always an idea, if an American goes to India, he or she thinks, okay, what's about the hygiene, what's about the circumstances. But once they are there, they start to love it. So I think this is very important to keep that and to, yeah, and be a good host. And I think Madras is a very good host for international people, and just keep it like that. So don't be protectionist, I will say. Let the people fly out from Madras, and if they are good, they come back.